All right, first thing and foremost, I'd like to say Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Kal Halal, Wahawad La, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Waha, Rachaha Kodash, giving double honor, which goes out to the venerable apostles and elder bishops in Zaquanium, who rule and teach Yasha Allah well through the Spirit, laboring in this word and doctrine, and are our true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And salutations to the hopeful elect out there noising this gospel abroad and lifting up the standard of Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai, wherever they are located at in sincerity and in truth. Abba Ratazah, which means Father willing. So Father willing, this lesson is edifying. Now today is Wednesday the 12th of August 2026, the era of sellouts, agents and apostates. Okay, sorry, excuse me. Okay. So here's another example of what tends to occur in the slightest bit of anarchy or chaos. As you can see on your screen, got this article here from Yahoo News, and there's Euronews there. We see raped girls, doctor reveals horrors faced by migrant girl following Ceuta influx crisis. Okay. So yeah, this is dealing with the situation over there in Spain. Okay. As they had this migrant invasion. All right. And if you've been seeing the trend, right, with all these, different countries that not too long ago had their borders wide open, fighting against those that were cautious against just having an open border and have everybody and anybody come into your country. Now these countries are facing different types of issues, right? One of the main things that is common amongst most, if not all these cases, is women getting taken, grabbed up, obviously against their will in most cases, if not all, right? But on top of that, of course, you have violence, okay? And then there's also the discontent, of the actual citizens of that country. So this was dated Sunday, the 9th of August, 2026, all right? Medical sources have confirmed that Ceuta University Hospital has treated over the past week at least 5 girls for suspected rape, none of them older than 14, and all whom had arrived in the city from Morocco amid last week's influx of migrants into the Spanish North African exclave. One boy is also believed to be among those who suffered alleged sexual assault, medical sources said, noting that the real figure may be higher, as some victims have yet to file a complaint. Wow, even the boy suffered from that. Okay. Now, in places like Babylon the Great America and other countries, particularly Western nations, especially in the USA, people are of that mindset that when they see and come across these things, hear of these things like this, they don't really care about what happens in some of these other countries, around the world, because it's not like that here, right? This place has cameras set up and operating. There's always people around. Okay, you can call 999 or 911 if you're in Babylon the Great, right? There's services and stuff like that, emergency services as well, right? And sometimes they think this can never happen to them. Well, you better hope and pray it doesn't, right? We know destruction is coming to America, right? Mayhem, race wars, class wars, okay? And that's a fact. When chaos, anarchy, violence pops off, women and children, right, are very vulnerable, right? Whether young males or young females. When Jacob's trouble fully sets in, you're going to see how things will be terribly different on the scale that is about to be introduced to the whole world. Now, today, these women are flaunting themselves, parading themselves, and advertising themselves, having no care in the world. Well, we'll see if you like that when all hell breaks loose. Right? So far, more than a dozen cases consistent with sexual assault have been treated. The National Police have opened an investigation into the alleged rape of one minor who entered Ceuta during the mass arrival of migrants from Morocco. She was taken to hospital where injuries consistent with sexual assault were detected. No arrests have been reported, nor the exact circumstances in which the events are believed to have taken place, though authorities are continuing with their inquiries. Okay. And even in some of these cases, people don't care what you look like, right? Like it said further up, over the past week, at least 5 girls for suspected rape, none of them older than 14. All right. I bet you some of these cases you'll see the women weren't even dressed like provocatively, yet what took place still took place, it still happened, it was still taken, whether old or young. That's how real things can get out here. Salakia. Barakia. It's the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 13, verse 15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Here's the point. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. See that? This is coming to Babylon the Great. Okay. Houses being broken into. Wives ravished, raped. So it's going to be horrible for you women that are not seeking the Lord. Okay? Horrible for anyone that's not seeking the Lord, for that matter. An emergency doctor verifying the cases and noting that many of these minors are sleeping on the street because of the shortage of, places and shelters. Oh, yeah. Okay. Because you've got cases where you have migrants coming, you have more and more people coming into the country, and there's, not enough resources, as they're saying, to be able to accommodate for all this influx. Remember, you have to think, you have people that are already living there, and then of course you have the additional migrants that are coming in. Bear that in mind. Judicial sources have added that several attempted assaults have been prevented thanks to the intervention of local residents, adding that evidence points to other attempted cases that did not ultimately materialize. 14-year-old girls left on the street. Susanna Ascaso, an accident and emergency doctor at Suter Hospital, University Hospital, confirmed in an interview that her department is treating cases of rape of migrant girls. You know why I say that, to get around the algorithm. Don't want the video flagged up. According to her account, these are girls under 14 who are living on the streets because there are no places available in reception centres for minors. It is not that they do not want to take them in, there is simply no room for them, the doctor explained. Ascaso places these cases within a broader situation she describes as a, open quote, health catastrophe, end quote. Her department is currently treating between 300 and 400 migrants per day on average, with the same staff and the same resources it had before the mass arrival at the end of July, noting that much more manpower is needed to address the dramatically higher volume of patients. Look at that. You see? Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 14 and verse 15, and it reads, "The simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going." See, if you start to pay attention to what is happening all around the world, then you start to get the sense that the world wasn't how it was a decade ago, even then, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, 30 years ago. Nowadays, this is the type of things going on in these different areas. These are the things you have to think about as the world grows increasingly dangerous. And as the world gets more and more, dangerous, these people get more and more defenseless. They no longer use common sense, their critical thinking, nor their foresight. They no longer use rational thought. Okay? They lose all of that. The world is getting more and more dangerous around you. The West, especially America, has put you into this bubble as to where each day, each week, each month, your brain is getting weaker and weaker because people ain't exercising their brains, forcing it to think and work, to form new neural pathways, right? By learning new things, reading, doing challenging things. to work the brain. Okay? It's a muscle too that needs to be worked. They ain't doing that. If you have a muscle or body part that you don't use, then eventually it'll get weaker and weaker. Right? You don't use your legs and get up and, they'll get weaker. Same thing with these people's minds out here, their brains, but they don't see it. See, when you're constantly on social media, right, and trapped in this digital world, all this audible and visual is going straight to your head, of course. All right? Now we know he floods the socials with folly, right? Especially with the way the algorithm goes. Even hiding it, you try to bypass it and you don't want to see this no more. Other things come up. Your brain is constantly fed information. Open something up, right? And something else comes completely different, just pops up and it's distracting you. We went to go click on a video or something else, and then all of a sudden something that's completely irrelevant just comes up and distracts you. Before you know it, half an hour has already gone. And you've not gotten into whatever it is that you were searching for originally. Then this popped up. Then this popped up. Then that popped up. Then that popped up. Then something else came up, Something else came up. So it's a constant influx of information, into your head, to your brain. And it's releasing dopamine based on what you're seeing. Whether it's funny or exciting or enticing, and people are just losing the ability to use their head in a good way. In a positive way. Especially in America, man. So when you end up being in like some sort of fight or flight situation and you're not counting on your brain to work, it won't work the way it should, because the pressure is going to just cause it to just crack. Damn, what do I do now? I'm stuck in this predicament. How do I get up out of it? That's these people out here. And we know this world is messed up. But these people are just brain dead, period. See, Yahushua needs to return so we can reset this world, man. Everything's upside down. The doctor says that once patients are discharged, they cannot be sent anywhere, as most of them have nowhere to go. She also pointed to the risk of diseases with epidemic potential, such as tuberculosis or hepatitis, arriving without any capacity to detect them in an emergency department, as well as cases of diabetic decompensation and epileptic seizures among migrants who have been left without access to their usual treatment. She has publicly called for extra staff and urged that Ceuta be recognized as an area with particularly difficult healthcare coverage. You got insufficient support from authorities. In the makeshift settlement of Sidi Mbarak, where around 300 people are crammed together, imagine the conditions. The president of the neighborhood association, Abdullah Mustafa, describes episodes similar to those recounted by Ascaso. Yeah. Look at this now, today, 12:03, from RT. Child unalived in Ukrainian drone raid in southern Russia. Child has been unalived and 8 people wounded in a Ukrainian drone strike. Anyway, that's all I have on that. I'm going to say shalom.